Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Made Right in Milan for Local 4 News Over Coffee. I'm Local 4 News Director Mike Mickle, and we are discussing kids and crime. We have our friends from Family Resources here, Stephanie Hernandez. Stephanie, thanks so much for putting up with all these guys this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Talk to me a little bit. We were just talking about mental health and trauma and how that can play an impact. It can have an impact on a child's life. Play a part in this. At Family Resources, what sort of cases are you guys seeing, and how are you prepared to help?
So at Family Resources, we're serving many different ages, families, individuals working that have mental health issues and trauma. And for the programs that I oversee, our group foster care, those kids have been removed from their homes and placed by the Department of Human Services or juvenile court. And oftentimes, as a community, we quickly want to address the behavior. And what we forget is that as we unlayer those behaviors, what we find is a lot of trauma and a lot of mental health. And so sometimes we label our kids as bad kids or someone that has ADHD, but in reality, they're survivors of the homicide issues that are happening in their neighborhood, the violence in their homes. And so really we need to treat their PTSD and really address the trauma that's occurred as a child and as a family. And then beyond that child, really looking at the family. So a lot of our parents might have mental health issues, substance abuse issues, trauma of their own. And because those aren't being dealt with, it just is a ripple effect. And so when we talk about, it's just a handful of kids or a small majority of the kids, those kids are spreading that amongst their peers. And so this issue is going to continue if we're not addressing it as a community and having accountability, not just from providers or the chiefs or the mayors, but really everybody has a part and a piece into being accountable to what we're doing for our kids.
Bottom line, they're witnessing some things that you simply can't unsee, and it has to be dealt with. Chief Kimball from Bettendorf, I want to talk to you for just a moment. I know that you have talked with me a lot about the potential for a juvenile assessment center. Explain that to me. What would that entail, and why do we need it?
So this has been a movement for the last year and a half, where City of Davenport and other Scott County agencies have really come together and had discussions and meetings for some time. And back, not to be cliche, but it takes a village. And what this Juvenile Assessment Center, what we're looking at and trying to do is exactly what Stephanie is speaking of, is how do we, when we get in these situations, whether a juvenile's been arrested or prior to that, how do we have great services in the Quad Cities. I mean, we have all the bases covered at our social service agencies, but we have all these silos, and we want to break down those silos. And so this Juvenile Assessment Center can be used where we can do full assessments of the children and the juveniles that are coming to us, again, whether through the juvenile justice system or just contacts we're having on the street or referrals from schools. And assessing not only the child's needs and what they need, but also the whole family integral unit and the parents, whatever that situation may be, and getting the right services to those people and hooked up so that there's support there, ongoing support. And that's really the goal, because we know we can't, as Mayor Cliff said, we can't arrest our way out of this situation. This is a more of a long-term solution that we really need to start, that will have many payoffs and benefits down the road. But if we don't start now, we're going to be dealing with this issue on and on. It's only going to get worse if we don't get a handle on it. So we have to attack it that way too.
10 seconds or less. How close is this to becoming a reality?
Well, we're getting closer. We're very hopeful. We've seen some, as some of the mayors have spoke about, this private-public partnership, and so we're close to. As a group, we formed kind of a board and looking at trying to appoint someone to start really taking over and really getting to the nuts and bolts of this, where we can actually go forward, looking at funding at the state level. But we're very optimistic, and we're going to progress. I think in the next year you're going to see more progress than you've seen ever before.
It's great to hear. Much more to discuss, but we have to take another break. We'll be back live at the Made Right in Milan coming up in just a few minutes.